everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Uncanny Spirits Club. I've got something different for you tonight. And I've seen this in the store a bunch of times, but I never really looked close enough at it because I wasn't sure I wanted to drop money on something that I wasn't sure if I was going to like or not. Drop that camera down a little bit. But once I read the label this time after picking it up, thinking, "Oh, I might actually try it this time," I was uh, I was surprised, and I think I might like this more than I thought I would. This is Handy and Schiller's signature cocktail, barreled old fashioned. Now, I keep seeing there's been a Bullet Bourbon makes one of these. Somebody else makes one. I keep seeing these on the shelves where they're pre-mixed cocktails, and a lot of times it's not foolproof. A lot of times it's less proof, and I'm like, it's kind of cool, but if I want to make one at home, I'll make it my way, right? But this one, once I actually got down to reading it, is 84 proof. It's made from Buffalo Trace and Pashad's bitters, which you may have seen me use in some of my cocktails here. I used it in the Venusian cephalopod quite a while back, and while that drink was terrible, I think this one will be much better. The Bashads I usually use here when I'm making a Sazerac, which is a variation of the old fashioned that uses like two different kinds of bitters, the Angostura and the Bashads, and it also uses a wash, an absinthe wash in the glass. You don't add absinthe as a certain amount, you just wash the glass with it, get rid of the excess. So it gives a bit of a tint, a bit of an expression to it. Um, so yeah, so I'm interested. It's got a little story on the back about it. And It says it is the perfect marriage of a balanced, flavorful, old fashioned cocktail and the vibrant flavor of our bourbon barrels. Enjoy over ice and garnish with an orange. I don't have any oranges and I don't have any ice, but I've taken some cold water about the size of an ice cube that I would have put in here after it's melted. So it should simulate a similar effect. It's not going to be as cold. I could have put this in the fridge or the freezer or something like that, but I didn't want it to get too syrupy. Because a lot of times this kind of stuff tends to get a little syrupy in the freezer. It's a nice bottle too. Like this is all embossed on here. It's some kind of sticker, like a really nice. It's supposed to look like metal, but it's plastic. Looks like it's corked. I think we'll find out here. Something in my eye. Don't mind me. But let's take a look here. I think it's corked. Yeah. Ooh, satisfying pop too. And it looks like it is a natural cork. Again, not that that matters to me, but it might matter to you. I smell a little bit of the bitters in there. I smell a lot of alcohol. I smell a lot of alcohol, ethanol fume, um, which may be concerning. I don't want it to taste just like straight alcohol. I'm hoping it tastes like an old fashioned. But we'll find out. This, I believe, was in the neighborhood of $39.99 at my local grocery store. I didn't keep the receipt. I meant to, and I didn't. But it's somewhere between 35 and $40, which is a pretty solid price range. So it's about the cost, a little bit more of what a bottle of Buffalo Trace would be. Buffalo Trace is like 20 something, 25, I think, maybe a little bit more here in Ohio. And so this is about the cost of that plus the ingredients. So it tracks, I would say. Um, let's find out if it makes a good old fashioned though. Smells a little bit more flavorful in the glass. I'm using one of my bigger glasses because I haven't washed my Woodford glass. I didn't get a chance to wash that today. It's dark. It's about a little bit darker than Buffalo Trace would be on its own. Still pretty dark in the glass, almost like a dark cherry wood look to it. It smells interesting. It smells a little bit like a cola. It's not carbonated, as you can see. It is fully a cocktail. But let's see how it does. Sweet. It is pretty sweet. It's got the burn that goes right up, hits the back of your throat, and then goes right on down. This is a heartburn inducer. I think it's a mix of not necessarily just the Buffalo Trace, but the bitters and whatever else they've used. I'm feeling it in my ear, of all places. Like it's just shooting weird feelings throughout my head here. It might be me. I might be coming down with something. Who knows? But it's sweet. It's not too sweet. It's not as sweet as like a Southern Comfort or something like that, which I had wondered how sweet it was going to be. You can definitely feel the alcohol in here. It may not be the highest proof, and it's not the highest proof I've had in the last few videos. Even it's 84 proof, which is not that too far out, but you feel it. Like it's already just like, you're drinking alcohol. Okay, so I am. Good viscosity on the glass, by the way. Don't know if you can see that a little bit on the camera. The light's not great because it's late and I've got the window open back here. Let's take another taste and see if it hits as hard as that first one. Because that first one, definitely feel like it's a heartburn inducer. That one's a little easier. You're getting a little bit more of the sourness and the bitterness from the bitters from the Peychauds. Bit of a sour taste in the back. A little bit of citrus. Not a ton. It's not bad. Is it the best old fashioned I've ever had? I can't really say because I haven't had a lot of old fashions outside of ones that I've made at home. I've had this. I've had the Rock and Rye Slow and Low. Slow and Low is a brand, and it's called the Rock and Rye. It's supposed to be like rock candy and rye. It's supposed to be an old fashioned, bottled, and I think it said 80 proof. And I had that once, and that wasn't bad, but it was distinctly different from this. I think much sweeter. The ones I've made at home have been, okay. I haven't had too many out and about that I can even remember to compare the taste to. And that's something probably that's going to be important. If I'm going to be rating something like this, I think I need to have a better benchmark than just the ones I've made at home because I might not be making them real great. Mine might be terrible. Mine might suck. And I wouldn't know it because I'm not serving it to anybody else. I'm just drinking them and thinking, oh, yeah, this is a good balance of ingredients. And if I like them, really, that's all that matters. But it's no frame of reference for a review. So I'm going to need to keep a bottle of this around at home and probably hit up a couple of nicer establishments in the greater area here. I don't think any of my local bars are likely to make me an old fashioned. I don't think so. I think there's a couple of the actual like bourbon bar, pardon me, like bourbon specific places that are supposed to be high class kind of things, but they're a bit expensive and they're not super close by. I think there's one in Cleveland, at least. There's one in Columbus, which is a lot farther. But I think I should go to a couple of places at least and compare a true old fashioned made by a professional and see how it stacks up to this and stacks up to mine at home. Because as I'm drinking this, I'm really realizing I do not have a solid frame of reference. I have not had a professionally made uh, old fashioned by a professionally trained bartender. Which, people don't always have to be a professionally trained bartender and go to bartender school or college or whatever. I don't know what the courses are for something like that, if they exist at all. But I know there are things like there's night classes and things people do, bartending stuff. Um, and I know people follow recipes that are supposed to be pretty perfect. They wouldn't be recipes for these if they weren't meant to be made a certain way. So that's going to be my mission. I may or may not have accomplished that by the time you watch this video, because remember, I'm recording these in the past. Um, as I'm recording this, it is midsummer. It is July. We're about halfway through July here. When you're going to see this, I don't know. I don't have that set out. I usually put up an episode or two a week. And the latest one I put up was this is episode 133. The latest one that I've actually put up to watch is episode 103, I think, which is the proper 12. So that tells you the gap in the time that I've been recording all these. And they stacked up because I was building the 100th episode and I got really behind. So I've just been letting these stack and stack and stack, and now they're all far off in the future. So I may have accomplished this by that time, in which case I will have made at least one video about it if the establishment will let me record there. I'm trying to find an establishment that's going to let me record. If I have not done that yet, then you have something to look forward to, I guess. Either way, this isn't bad. It's definitely a surprise. It hits a lot harder than you would think. And I think a few of these would be enough to get your party started and ended in short order. But it's not bad to have with friends. I think this would be something you could have a few of these at a social gathering where you're I don't know. I don't do like I don't invite friends over to play canasta or to play board games and things. I don't do that. I'm not that kind of a person. I will not have become that kind of person in the intervening time from recording this until you see it. So it's just how I am. But if you do things like that, if you invite friends over, if you have little, fun get-togethers and things, this might not be a bad choice as long as everybody watches how many they're having, because these are they do hit you harder than they seem like they would supposed to. So, all that being said, I have homework with all this, not like school homework, but I have this to figure out. I'll be seeing you folks next time. As always, cheers.